So thanks, Annika. So hello, everyone. Great to have you here. Also great day for, I think, a really insightful webinar on a really important topic, open innovation, which is a great point of discussion for the corporate world. Today, together with me, I have a speaker from Cefriel, Flavio Giovanelli, who is business partner there, working a lot with public sector, but also defense clients. Maybe before we jump in, Flavio, do you want to say one or two words about yourself?
Good afternoon, all. Thank you for joining us. I am Flavio Giovanelli, and I work for Cefriel, and I'm ready to give you my speech.
Okay, perfect. Then let's dive into that. I see we're already over 30 people in here, so great stuff. Looking also forward to hear your questions. I will do a short introduction. Flavio will then host this talk, and afterwards we will have some discussion. So please use the Q&A feature. We'll try to come back to every question answered here, but if not, we will provide at least a written answer. So like type in your questions and get it served. So let's start with the webinar. Then I quickly share my screen. So open innovation in the defense sector. Basically, why did we choose this topic, or within our corporate innovator client webinar series that we have here? Well, what we see in the corporate world that also in the last few years, I mean, open innovation is basically a topic, I would say, since the mid-2000s, but especially what we see actually that over the past 5 years, especially with COVID, especially with a really fast-paced business world, companies are recognizing more and more that kind of not all smart people are working for them. So naturally, the topic of open innovation comes up. There's also some quite nice and quite timely data showing that. So what I've brought you here is basically a snippet from the KPMG Innovation Benchmarking Report from 2023, where they asked the participants of that study to rate or to assign from around 50 innovation activities that corporates could do, which their company does. And this is kind of the top 8 list. And from what you see here are in this top 8 list, we directly see with the more darker blue bars here that 4 of them or half of them are all related to open innovation. So crowdsourcing, partnering with all universities, CBC, partnering with accelerators, and also for the other ones, like for hackathons, for innovation labs or centers, you could also argue that those are related to open innovation. So it is quite a relevant and important topic. But at the same time, what we see is, especially being a software provider that looks into the processes, that looks into how people are actually doing stuff and how they are actually implementing stuff, then we also see that oftentimes the outcomes that companies get from open innovation are not necessarily what they desire. I've also brought a quote here from the Chief R&D Officer of Kimberly-Clark, who basically says, okay, usually when companies start to do open innovation, they get a low yield of ideas that actually translate into actual projects. So, and he says that working at a company that works in the consumer goods industry, where I would say basically people would imagine, okay, open innovation could even work better here because it's not so technically deep. It's not so, let's say, high level of classified information or stuff like that. So I would say even the consumer goods industry, which is an easier industry to implement open innovation practices, also their companies are oftentimes struggling. And in industries like defense that we will talk today about, that can be even amplified. And well, who has, I think a lot of people who are in this call, they have attended some webinars. They know that I'm kind of a friend of meme culture. And to illustrate kind of what are the greatest challenges or some really common challenges that we see in open innovation, I've kind of put here together some memes that showcase that. So one thing that we see that companies are struggling with is oftentimes the topic of crowd selection. So attracting the right people, attracting the right experts that input ideas, because without that, collective intelligence can quickly turn into collective stupidity. So as you see in the meme here, that's kind of how fraternities use collective intelligence. So they want to have a beer cooler in the pool. And what they do is, okay, let's put the flip-flops into the water, they swim, and then let's put the extension cable onto that. So maybe not the best idea. Then what we also see is when companies start with engaging in open innovation, there is always a long red tail of work that comes after it. So like, you need to have internal experts who look into the ideas. You need to think about which business units could profit most from the ideas. You need to find internal sponsors. So it's not just doing a crowdsourcing campaign, but it's really getting efficient processes afterwards. And also within the campaign already, handling the submissions, working with a lot of data that comes in. That's oftentimes a huge challenge. And finally, open innovation always involves information disclosure. So it's not, you cannot just collect information without sharing information or without sharing information first. And that can be turned into a problem because like the better you explain your campaign, the better you explain your problems to the world that you want to solve, usually the quality of ideas, but there's a trade-off because if you expose yourself and say, hey, this is what we're working on and this is a challenge that we're trying to solve, you can reveal quite a lot of the topics you're working on. And that, especially in industries such as defense, can be a huge problem. And that's why I'm glad to have Flavio here, because I think with their approach to open innovation, they have found some really nice solution to all of those challenges. And that's enough words for myself. So I want to hand over to you, Flavio, and let's dive into your talk.
Okay, thank you, Fabian. Before giving my presentation, let me spend just a couple of words about myself and the company I work for. So my name is Flavio Giovanelli. I have a technical background. I'm a telecommunication engineer. I graduated at Polytechnic of Milan in Italy back in 1995. Then after experience of work abroad, I started working in Cefriel, which is more than 27 years ago. And I started working on digital innovation, and I still work in the area of digital innovation. Currently, my role in Cefriel is a business partner for the government market. That means I follow a certain number of clients in the public administration in Italy. And no surprise, one of those clients is the Ministry of Defense in Italy, and which I started work with since 2021, and still we are collaborating. And our presentation today relies on this collaboration. A couple of words on who is Cefriel, the company I work for. Cefriel is a sort of a spin-off of the Technical University Politecnico di Milano in Italy, an engineering university. It's exactly the university where I graduated a long time ago. Cefriel is a company which has the main objective, the mission to help our clients, businesses, public administrations, to rely and to work with digital technologies to improve their products and services. Our markets are mainly three. We bid for funds in the research funds, like European funds. We sell training, both technical training or management training. And then our main activities is innovation, which means, again, working together with companies and our clients in general to bring digital innovation in their products or services. Currently, we are about 150 people after more than 30 years of being in the market. And although we are a spin-off of the University of Politecnico Milano, we have a different approach, a different mission. We use this diagram to show the difference. Universities, but also startups, incubators, and so on, typically go to the market in a push way, in the sense that university, they develop research, an algorithm or a technology. Startup develops a new product, a new business model, and they go to the market selling what they've developed, what they created. In Cefriel, we have the opposite approach, which we call it the pull approach. We don't have our own solution to sell. We meet our clients. We try to understand what is their problem and how technology can help to solve their problem. So we ideate the best solution, and then we sell our competencies, or even if whenever it's needed, the competencies of universities, why not startups, technology providers. But we start from the solution from the problem to the solution. Now, let's go to the main topic of today, which is open innovation in the defense sector. When I approached the innovation in this sector back in 2021, I had already experience in innovation in other business sectors, but I noticed some differences, some peculiarities which are specific to the defense sector. First one is that typically the defense sectors face long-term development programs. And when I mean long-term, I mean 10 years or even more, which is quite a different environment than the business I used to attend before, to meet before. Businesses are more work on very close cycles. To stay on the market, they have business plans that last for 3-5 years maximum, typically. So the first difference is that the horizon is very far, more than 10 years usually. And technologies are very relevant in the defense sectors. Technologies can make the difference during operations in the battlefield or any kind of defense operation. So edge-cutting technologies are very relevant because they can make the difference, but we face the difficulty to identify what are the edge-cutting technologies in 10 years or 15 years, because when I say long-term development, 10 years is the development, but then the operations last for other 10, 20, 30 years. So quite a long range to identify edge-cutting technologies, which are very relevant. And then, like any kind of business, there are domain-specific competences that I started to learn from scratch a few years ago. All the businesses usually are fine with innovation as long as it brings business impact. In the defense sector, they prefer the word operational advantage, which is their way of meaning business impact, in the sense that they want to have an advantage to the competitors, to the Reds, they call it. And then another difference is that we are talking about public spending. The Minister of Defense spends money of the citizens. So while the main objective is the operational advantage, they also must take into account the impact on the economy or the national economy, since it's national money and national society. And so doing innovation in the defense sector has also has proven to be important also for the improvement of the technology development throughout all the sectors. Often new technologies that are born in the military sectors have been then applied also in the civil market through spillovers and other mechanisms like that. So the return of the investment is not only within the defense sector, but is so wider to the nation and the society at whole. Finally, another different challenge is that we deal often with classified information. Also, businesses have confidential information that we need to preserve, but in the defense sector, they go beyond that. The classified information is very, very, very strict and protected, and that can be an obstacle to open innovation. Our experience has been developed within a framework program called GCAP, Global Combat Air Program. The Global Combat Air Program is a multinational, trinational joint initiative among United Kingdom, Japan, and Italy. It started a few years ago, and it has the objective to design and develop what is called a sixth generation fighter. For those who are not familiar with the fighters, let me say that the last development of such size in Europe was the Eurofighter, which is considered to be a fourth generation fighter and is still operating now. The most advanced fighter in the Western world, at least, is supposed to be the F-35, which is built from United States, designed in the United States, and that is called fifth generation. With the GCAP program, we are targeting the next generation, the sixth generation, so a better and improved fighter with enhanced capabilities, and which is not only an aircraft, really it's called a system of systems, in the sense that the fighter is inside an information flow that connects the fighter to the ground, to the sea, and to the space. And the plane, the aircraft itself, is not a single object, a single flying object, but it's likely to be surrounded by other flying objects like unmanned air vehicles, drones, and swarm on drones. So quite a complex system. And the target is to have the first flight in 2035. Within the context of this three-national collaboration, Cefriel and myself have been involved with the Italian Ministry of Defense in what we called the Italian GCAP Acceleration Initiative. The Italian GCAP Acceleration Initiative was created in 2023 in order to get to scout, to find which are the most innovative enterprises, which are the most innovative technologies that may be of interest in the GCAP scenario, to identify which are the excellence in Italy, not only in the defense sector, but also in similar sectors. For example, we found excellences in the automotive sectors, which have developed new technologies that can be applied to also an aircraft, but not only. A lot of sectors can be of interest, a lot of technologies. So our objective of the GCAP Acceleration Initiative was to scout, identify which are these technologies, which are these companies, and engage them in order to make these companies work together with the national industry, the traditional national industry in the defense sector that is part of the GCAP program. How we did that? We launched the GCAP Acceleration Initiative through a portal in 2023. So it's quite a classic, let me say, open innovation initiative, which starts with a portal, but the portal is only what you see. There is a lot of work behind that. Apologies if you see all the screenshots in Italian language. The portal is all in Italian because the whole initiative was targeted to the Italian market, the Italian industries. But anyway, I will help you understand the screenshots. This is the homepage of the Open Portal. You can reach it at the foresightip.it URL. What Cefriel did, and this is the first Open Innovation Portal of the defense, of the Italian Ministry of Defense. They did not have one Open Innovation Portal before. So we really started from scratch, both regarding the tool, so the portal itself, but also, and what is, I think, more important, trying to build the community of innovators in Italy that can be part of this initiative. So part of the work was in the communication. We did a lot of communication. Again, these messages are all in Italian, but the main idea is there is a big opportunity for you to develop new technologies. We give you very strong requirements, very difficult requirements to meet, and obviously a reward for developing the technology with us. We did the communication both through the press, but also through specific our network of contacts. Cefriel, as I said, has been working in the research and innovation field for 30 years, so we have a wide network of associations and universities and companies. So we spread the word around Italy. Targeting. Our target was startups, obviously, but also small, medium enterprises with innovative technologies, and also universities and research centers. So we were looking at low TRL because we have a long way in front of us before the plane will fly. So we have all the time to start from low TRLs and then work on that to improve the technologies. What technology are we talking about? It's a very wide spectrum of technologies that you find in a plane. Obviously, computing technologies, cybersecurity, electronic devices and sensors, information processing, materials and low observability for stealth functionalities, photonic and optical materials, and then propulsion. And then I skipped the digital design technologies because it goes across all of these. When you design such a complex system, you need also tools to design and to keep track of the requirements, design in a manufacturing phase, all in a digital way through modeling and simulation, for example. Let's come to the tools and the reason why I'm here. So no surprise, you see ITONICS as the backend. We chose ITONICS because it's a very full-fledged platform with a lot of functionalities that helped us in creating this Open Innovation Portal. We created from the design to the go live in 3 to 4 months, including the design in 4 months. And went live in April 2023. So we relied on the ITONICS platform as the content manager. And then we developed our own front end. So our colleagues in Cefriel are also developers, and they created all the front end, which is connected to ITONICS through APIs that are offered by the platform. The front end so is very lightweight. It only shows displays the information and interacts with the end user. All the information is stored in the ITONICS platform, and which is very modular. It helps you to cluster all the information in entities and then connect them all together in a way that you it's easy to make analysis and later on. So we created a lot of different entities. One entity is the market exploration, so the technology challenge that we are publishing on the website. And then we have entities like the submissions. So what are the proposals, the project proposals that are submitted? We have entities which are the submitters, the applicants, entities that are the technology area under which the market exploitation is put. And then all these are linked together in a way that can be analyzed very well during the open innovation phase, but also what is more important, after closing the deadline for submission, it helps us to do all the analysis and evaluation of the proposals. Furthermore, the ITONICS platform not only helped us in the open innovation, but ITONICS platform also has functionalities that helped us in designing and tracking with other technology trends as a whole, and then connecting our open innovation challenges and project proposals to the technology trends. And these are examples of outputs from ITONICS of our technology radar, which shows the different technologies of interest classified in different slices. Some information is not public, sorry about that. So, coming to the end, what were the main results? Main results were that we launched about 50 challenges. We had about from 250 and 300 registered users. That means we started from zero. We have started the first community of about 300 innovators. And we received more than 150 project proposals, which have been evaluated by the Italian MOD, by the National Defense Industry, ourselves, and the National Academia that cooperates with us. And the ones that have been selected started collaborating with the National Defense Industry within the program. We are at the end of the presentation, so I can summarize the key takeaways. First of all, I can witness that the defense sector is a very stimulating environment for those like me who like innovation, who like new technologies. There are impressive technology challenges and long-term horizons, which is very nice. And there is also nice opportunities to have of dual use. Dual use means both defense and civil market, and the spillover, so transforming competencies and know-how developed in the defense sector to businesses, in traditional civil businesses. So it is a lot of opportunities. But as I mentioned, there's a lot of constraints, one of which is the classification information, which does not allow to publish too much, and that is an obstacle when you work in open innovation. In the end, we are happy about our results that we got last year. So we completed all the process. What can be improved? Well, what we now are finding difficult is to give continuity to this initiative. So it was a success, but keeping the community engaged over time needs a lot of effort that currently we are still struggling to have the proper attention by our client, our Ministry of Defense, and we know we are working on it. So thank you, and I'm ready to answer any questions.
So maybe I can start with a question. So You mentioned on the last slide kind of this topic or this key constraint, classified information. I would say definitely that's one. I mean, especially in the defense industry, it's not just classified information that could harm the firm, but it could also harm the national interest and stuff like that. So the implications of that and the risks could be quite large here. So what I would be interested is, do you have some strategies in place on how to deal with that? How are you handling that? And again, how are you trying to mitigate that?
Yeah. Well, I can give you what we decided to do. So one potential risk in such an open innovation is to declare what are the technologies that will be hosted on the next generation aircraft. Not to do that, to avoid that, I can tell you that you will find probably about 50 technology challenges, but I will never tell you which ones are the ones that are really relevant or most relevant, and the other ones that are less relevant or not relevant.
Okay, that's smart actually. Okay, and then the first question from the participants come in. So, for instance, Sarah asks, what happened after you onboarded 150 innovators? How far have you accompanied them, as you mentioned, with a low TRL? Are you providing further support like funding? So kind of what are the follow-up actions you do with those 150 ideas collected here?
Yeah, and the 150 were the submitted proposals that only some of them have been selected as good ones. And those now are collaborating with our national industry. I can name Leonardo, which is in Italy the main contractor of the GCAP program. Let's say the reward was a collaboration contract with Leonardo to start and to develop the technology that they have proposed.
Okay. Okay, cool. And I think in a similar direction, so like Daniel asks, are there any obstacles for SMEs to collaborate in the defense sector and also collaborate with you probably?
No. It was the main target of this open innovation was to involve SMEs and startups and research centers. So obviously, let me say, there are some obstacles in the traditional procurement the traditional way of doing procurement. I mean, big companies like the one I mentioned before has very standard processes for procurement, which themselves are an obstacle to small, medium enterprise. Like you need to be registered as a certified provider, things like that. But one of the objectives of this initiative was also to make this process much quicker. Actually, so the main objective was to open up the opportunities also to small, medium enterprises.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's general. So it's a general market barriers that are there for suppliers anyway in your industry. So, but like, not especially for like open innovation. Okay, then Jarl asks, how do you handle IP in your portal, in your innovation management system? So, what's your strategy for that? How is the topic of intellectual property handled with the submitters?
Okay, in this specific case, IP rights were dealt by the industry itself. So the Open Innovation Portal just identified the candidates for contracts, defined the framework for NDA, for non-disclosure information, but then the IP rights being discussed case by case from between the industry, our national industry, and the candidate that's been selected.
Okay, great. Then, Sarah, again, how did you work with the expectations from your clients, so from the ministry? So, she says, okay, so much is unknown on the whole journey. So it's like,
yeah, for them it was
what's your collaboration there?
Yeah, no, for them it was a new initiative. As I said, it was the first time they did such an open innovation initiative. So it was not easy to explain everything in advance. They learned and we learned together during the process. But as I said, it worked well. If you the difficulty was to deal with the time constraints. For example, we had only 1 month from the publication of the challenges to the closing of the proposal submission. We tried to enlarge this time window to allow more project proposals, but they were quite strict on timing, and so we stayed on 1 month, which is not a very short time to reply to such a challenge, but in the end it worked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's even more challenging for you here, like as the intermediary here for doing this challenge for your client here. Really interesting. Okay, then from France, there is, on the one hand, a praise of your presentation. So the focus of your excellent presentations on technologies and the development of a capability. How do you identify technologies that could be useful for future systems or their midlife upgrades? So like, basically, how do you, I would say also, how do you identify kind of what are the challenges and kind of where do you want to start searching for?
We have our own, as I call the pull approach at the beginning of my presentation. So we meet the client, we ask questions to the client, and we try to derive the requirements from that. So that's the way we work. We interview our client.
Okay. Okay. And of course, a little bit technology radar from ITONICS also helps. So a little bit of advertisement from this side. Okay, perfect. Then Finn asks, how do your activities link up with activities from other nations like Japan or the UK? Is there any sharing of information between national borders, or is there any format that worked quite well if you do that? Or is it like right now restricted to Italy?
No, okay. I stressed the GCAP Italian acceleration program, but as I mentioned before, GCAP is a truly three-national cooperation program. So all the three countries work together in this program. They share information, they co-design the aircraft. So it's a fully integrated program. I only stressed the Italian part because that was the objective of the presentation today. But no, it's a really collaboration program, a three-national collaboration program.
Okay. Okay, great. Any additional challenges that poses, or is this this kind of collaboration, especially within the European Union, something that is working quite smoothly?
No, it's working smoothly. I don't know if you know it. There are actually two similar sixth fighter generation programs in Europe. The one I told you is the GCAP, and then there's another one led by France, Germany, and Spain, which are sort of two competitors in the sixth generation arena. And so that is the main competition. Let's see how it works in the future.
Okay, great. Then maybe to the last final two questions. So the question came in quite a lot right now during the past few minutes. So from Marta from Spain. What are key indicators that you consider essential to take into account to measure and evaluate the economic and social impact of the open innovation project, such as long-term horizons? So like, how are you evaluating ideas? What's your process here? What are you looking for in ideas?
I would distinguish two things. Specifically for the Open Innovation Program, we actually concentrated on technology parameters. So the main idea there was to identify the most promising technologies. That's it, without any specific study of economic impact. But that's true only for the Open Innovation Program. If we look at the program as a whole, the Italian government also developed its own econometric model to evaluate the advantages, the consequences of such an investment, which is billions of euros of investment. So they have econometric models to evaluate the return of the investment in the society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's oftentimes also like, well, what's the purpose of the challenge, and then taking that into account. And if it's looking into technologies, of course, it's something different than when it's something broader scale. Okay, great. And then final question from Vincent. It's actually a question to ITONICS, but that maybe leads quite nice over to my wrap-up of the session here. So does the platform have a tool that recognizes similar projects and at the same time connects project submitters?
You answer this, right?
I can answer it. So yes, for project similarities, there are some tools. It's also possible kind of for you as admins to see who has submitted something. You can connect them if you want to, but like usually most clients run it so that they know who has submitted and they can get in contact. But like in order for others not to see what others have submitted, it's usually the case in open innovation use cases that the submitters cannot see each other. One can build a platform as such, but usually it's not the case that this is requested. Okay, and with that, maybe do a quick wrap up of the session, or like maybe do for me the outro here. So let's see where we are here. Because if you are interested in this topic, open innovation, I've put in slides here some quick overview of what, with some screenshots of what the open innovation software from ITONICS can do for you. We will in October run another webinar where we talk deeper about that. So instead of client webinar, or in addition to this client webinar here, we will run a product webinar, meaning that we will also do some deeper platform demos so that a product experts from our side will show you how that looks like in ITONICS, what are best practices, what is the functionality of the tool. If you're interested in that, then you can apply. Then you can register for that on the ITONICS webpage. So it's directly next to this webinar here. You will be shared with the recording of the session, and altogether, if you want to have a chat with me about those topics, you can use the QR code or just contact us with our webpage. And then that leaves me to wish you all a great day. Keep innovating. Thanks again so much to you, Flavio. You did a tremendous job here. And I think, again, your case and how you implemented open innovation under those circumstances that you're working with in such a complex setting shows that open innovation can work in any setting. And it's really nice how you did that here. And thanks again for your great talk. And I wish you all a great day.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you all for joining us today. Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.